and welcome to our lesson on practices for long-term sleep habits. I'd like to start this lesson off by talking about the importance of consistency. If you're interested in creating a routine that encourages your baby to transition from consciousness to unconsciousness without much help from you, it's important to maintain that routine. Babies can become easily confused when they create one pathway for sleep, and then a new pathway is introduced, and then a new one. Nursing to sleep in the first months of life is biologically normal and beneficial to your baby. If nursing to sleep continues after the first 3 months of life, it can lead to a sleep association. And that means that the baby associates their pathway to falling asleep with nursing. And this can make independent sleep more challenging when you're ready to encourage the baby to fall asleep all on their own without support when they're a little older. If you decide not to nurse to sleep anymore, it may be important to stick to that choice rather than transition back and forth. Some babies can nurse to sleep and have independent sleep skills, while others are more sensitive to association, so they require more consistency. It just kind of depends on your kiddo. Some families keep their babies in bed for years and they don't mind nursing through the night. So it doesn't matter, even though the baby likely doesn't need to nurse at night anymore. Other families want to do everything they can to encourage independent sleep from the start, and there's no wrong way. What matters is that you're choosing to do what feels best to your family long term. Your baby can be sleeping through the night around 5 to 6 months, depending on their weight. So let's talk about inviting independence around 2 to 3 months. This is a method that involves gently encouraging your baby to link their sleep cycles at night without needing to nurse or needing you to carry them around the room for them to do it. So by doing this, we're slowly giving them opportunities to sleep with less support, with the intention of helping them feel more confident in their ability to link their sleep cycles independently in the future. Newborns spend more time in light sleep than adults, and this is completely normal. It's nature's way of keeping them safe because it allows them to wake easily if they're hungry or uncomfortable. However, as parents, it's important to recognize the difference between a true wake up and a baby transitioning through light sleep, because how we respond can shape their long-term sleep habits. So when babies transition into light sleep, they often wiggle and grunt or even briefly open their eyes. And so a lot of people think that the baby is actually waking up, but they're not always waking up. Sometimes they're just leaking their sleep cycles. So with this in mind, let's go over the 5 steps to supporting long-term independent sleep habits for your baby. Step 1 is to pause before responding. If your baby is grunting or squirming or making sounds, but they aren't crying for you, you can wait a moment and listen rather than responding right away. It's possible that your baby is naturally linking their sleep cycles and they just need a few moments to do that. Step 2 is to maintain consistency. It is absolutely vital for most babies that consistency is in place. Changing the routine, the sleep schedule, or the path that they're used to taking to go into sleep can cause them to become confused or to protest. Step 3 is to maintain a sleep-friendly environment. Now, you don't have to follow a rigid schedule that doesn't feel good for your family. You get to create the schedule that feels best for your family. It's just important that you stick to it once you create it, as long as it's still working for you and still working for your baby. And what I mean by schedule is shaping your baby's clock, right? So that they are going to sleep at a certain time and they're waking up a certain time. Their day starts at this time and night starts at that time. And what pathway the baby uses to go to bed, what routine they use to go to bed. All these things are for you to choose and create whatever feels best for you and your partner to do together. And it's really important for both partners to be doing this together, because that's how consistency is able to be maintained. Is having a conversation about what is going to feel best for us and our family, and how can we work together to maintain that consistency and support each other. A lot of people think that the partner comes home from work and then they're done with work and they don't have to do anything else. I don't know why people think that. But if there's a partner who's staying home with the baby, that partner is working all around the clock, especially if that partner is feeding from their body. And if that partner is someone who gave birth, that partner needs more sleep as they rest and recover from birth. And if that partner is a woman, women need more sleep than men. So it's really important that if there is a dynamic where one partner is at home with the baby and the other partner is at work, that when the working partner comes home, they become a team and they're supporting each other. And the person who is home with the baby is able to get a break. Because I'm assuming if you go to a job, you probably have a lunch break and other breaks. You probably have paid time off, at least I hope you do. And a stay-at-home parent does not have any of that. And they need it because we're human and we all need breaks. And we live in a nuclear family dynamic where we don't have the tribe, right? The community that is supporting babies in the way that our ancestors did, in the way that our genetics expect. This is not something that you're meant to do alone. So work together to maintain consistency and create a routine that feels best for you both. Step 3, maintain a sleep-friendly environment. When the environment consistently feels the same, it's a good temperature and allows for different elements to be present, such as bedtime story, a song, a swaddle, etc. Your baby will be supported in developing sleep associations to those environmental elements, and that will help cue their brain to release melatonin when the brain starts releasing it on its own around 3 months more consistently. So developing these associations early on can make the transition into independent sleep in the future much easier. Step 4, give babies opportunities to fall asleep independently. When you feel that your baby is ready to try some independent sleep skills, you can soothe them by doing your normal bedtime routine, feed them and rock them or sway with them until they become drowsy. Then place them in their own sleep space before they fall asleep. You can place your hand on their chest and hum quietly until they fall asleep on their own. Over time, you can start removing your hand to see if they'll fall asleep without it. Your baby may fuss when you set them down, but before picking them up again, wait a moment and listen to the sounds they're making. If they're grunting, wiggling, and making sounds that transition downward in volume, they're likely processing the day and winding themselves down, and this is known as cycling down. If their baseline cry accelerates and becomes louder, pick them up and soothe them right away. You can try again after they're drowsy. If your baby gets overtired, meaning it's way past the time they need to go to bed, they can't fall asleep, they're really upset. We'll talk more about overtired in the next lesson. Give them all the help that they need and just try again tomorrow. It's really important to get an overtired baby to sleep as soon as possible. Number 5, avoid overtiredness. If your baby is overtired, you don't want to try to get them to sleep independently. It's not the time to learn independent sleep skills. That baby needs to go to sleep. So just help them fall asleep however you can and try the independent sleep skills later. Also, it's important to note that this may not work perfectly the first time, and that's okay. It takes time for your baby to learn these new skills. You are here to stay regulated, to say, I believe in you, baby, you can do this, and to help them regulate their bodies and to teach them that they are safe and able to go from consciousness into unconsciousness all by themselves. This method is about gently introducing them to this concept over time and supporting them in regulating themselves and going into sleep without needing all the rocking or the nursing or the swaying, right? Just needing like a little bit of touch or just a song and kind of pulling back from there slowly over time.